Hey guys, what's up? This is Alex, your coach of the Toronto Star Raptors, here with my team builder for week 2 against the Golden State Luxrays. Right off the bat, I just want to say I hate you, Bruce, for drafting this. You got Cresselia, Mega Venusaur, and Suicune, so that is just crazy to me. It blows my mind that we let this happen. So I'm really worried about his defensive core. We got the Cresselia, the Mega Venusaur, the Suicune. I don't need to say anything about those. If you follow competitive Pokemon, you know that they're some of the fattest, most annoying walls to get around. He also has Fortress and Cofagrigus, which are both really bulky, but I feel like they're a little easier to take care of. I have the type coverage to kind of handle them. You got the Thunderous Eye, which I'm actually not super familiar with. I'm going to have to look up a few more of his sets and just kind of study footage of it or something, because I'm not super familiar with what it does. I know it has Prankster, I think. I have move coverage for it, and I'm not super worried about it, but it is kind of a wild card that I have to watch out for. You got Whimsicott. Kind of a utility mon, not super threatening to my team. I don't think I have mons to handle it, but it is something that he could bring. The Liepard is fast, but I'm not super worried about him bringing it, and I do have things to outpace it. So even if he does bring it, I'm not terribly worried about it. But again, we'll see what happens. Staraptor and Darmanitan are both super threatening. They have really high attack stats. I'm super familiar with Staraptor from last season, and it's obviously my mascot. I don't think he's going to bring both, and if he does, it tells me that probably, right off the bat, I'm going to guess that Darmanitan would be the Scarfed Mon, and Staraptor will probably be banded. That's my guess. Staraptor is good, and it has good coverage, but again, I have the right mons to handle it, so I'm not super worried about it. Darmanitan is the bigger problem for me, I think. So again, I did have to plan accordingly. And then last but not least, he has Hitmonlee, which along with his only two spinners are Fortress and Hitmonlee, so that's his only way of dealing with hazards. Spoiler alert, I was going to bring Toxic Spikes on Tentacruel, but I was talking to Crazy and he reminded me, Mega Venusaur. Well, he didn't remind me, but Mega Venusaur does come in and to get rid of them. And I had initially planned for that. Like, I wanted to use T-Spikes to lure in the Mega Venusaur, but it just seemed like a big hassle. Just having to constantly set them up if I wanted to get Toxic Poison on things like the Cresselia and the Suicune, like I really want. So I opted out of them ultimately, but again, Hitmonlee, it's kind of a wild card. I don't really see it being brought, but anything's possible, so you always have to prep for everything. But enough rambling about my opponent's team. I'm going to get into my team, what I'm bringing this week. First up, we have Egret, the Sneasel, making her debut, rocking the Choice Scarf, Icicle Crash, Knockoff, Ice Shard, and Punishment. Jolly Nature with enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Scarfed Staraptor. Just to make sure that no matter what, I can come in and get it. And if there's rocks on the field, an Icicle Crash has a chance to take it out. So that's really my main counter for Staraptor. It's just a revenge killer. Comes in and picks off something that's already weakened. I have the knockoff for Cress, Cofagrigus, and just to get rid of items in general. I got the ice coverage for Thunderous, Whimsicott, Mega Venusaur before it evolves, and against Staraptor. Ice Shard is for priority in case the Staraptor is banded with Quick Attack. So that's just something to scout for. And finally, Punishment. I've kind of gone back and forth on this move. I thought about bringing Poison Jab for the Whimsicott, but again, I have the Icicle Crash. That's Stab, so it does about the same as a 4-time effective move on the Whimsicott. And then the other problem with it is that Fortress can just switch in and wall this thing even harder with Poison Jab. Although it still walls this set, but I get no damage off if I go for the Poison Jab. And other than Whimsicott, Poison is not super effective on any of his mons, so it didn't really bring it. Punishment, for those of you that don't know what it does, because I didn't, is 60 base power plus 20 base power for each of the target's stat boosts. So if my opponent gets Calm Mind up with Crest, this becomes a base 100 dark physical move. That's stab. It's super effective, and the more he sets up with Cresselia, the harder Egret hits it. The Suicune, if it's a Crocoon set, max defense, max HP, bold, even with plus 3 Calm Minds, it doesn't do that much to it. It's still less than it's still a 3-hit KO, but it's just something to bring. Because I didn't really have anything in that force slot, especially anything that I needed, so I thought this might be a more unique move to bring. Something, kind of, maybe I'll catch him off guard and get a kill on Crest. Next up, we have Beyonce, our Mega Diancie. Rock and Psychic, HP Fire, Moonblast, and Diamond Storm. We have enough speed on his team to outspeed a Jolly Hitmonlee. Now, why did I do that, you're asking? Well, I'll tell you. I can't outspeed Thundurus no matter what I do. I can outspeed Liepard, but Liepard doesn't really have anything super effective on me, and I can take it out with the Moonblast, so I'm not super worried about it. Then you have the Staraptor and the Darmanitan. Again, like I said, if he brings one of those Mons, I expect it to be Scarfed, and I don't expect to be able to outspeed it no matter what anyway. So I'm kind of running a bulkier set. It took a little bit a more offensive set because I can run Rash. So I paced it to outspeed a Jolly Hitmonlee. It also outspeeds a Adamant Staraptor if it's not Scarfed. So Adamant Banded, I do outspeed still. Honestly, looking at it now, I might change it to outpace a Banded Jolly Staraptor, but again, I resist both of his stabs. Close combat is neutral and it's not stab, so I'm not super worried about it. I know I don't have the best HP stat, but I'm pretty sure I can live it, and that's also why I'm going Rash over whatever the defensive version of Rash is, because I'm more worried about his physical hitters than his special hitters. Admittedly, something like Mega Venusaur might run, or Thundurus I might run HP Steel, but I'm a little less worried about that because I have other mons to handle them. Next up, we have Avion, our Tornadus T, which doesn't even have an item yet at this point. I just realized. Okay, we're gonna put the Assault Vest on there for now. With Regenerator as always, Hurricane, Taunt, U-Turn, and Heat Wave. With 220 and a beneficial nature in speed, 252 special attack, and 36 in HP, just to give us that nice round number and to use up the rest of the stats. We are built to outspeed any of his mons that aren't Scarf. So we're going to be faster than Whimsicott. We're going to be able to take it out with a Heat Wave, U-Turn, or a Hurricane. The Taunt is to prevent Suicune from setting up on me, because I don't have a lot for that. So if I can get this thing out against Suicune, the thought process is go for a Taunt, keep it from Calm Minding, and then U-Turn out to get momentum. If he decides to switch out, I can bring in my threat accordingly, and if he doesn't switch out, I can switch into one of my other mons that's designed to take on Suicune more offensively. Excuse me. Heat Wave is for Fortress, and I should have mentioned this with Beyonce. I've done the calcs on Mega Diancie. Even with the Fire effective Berry, HP Fire does 75 to 85%. Heat Wave is a guaranteed OHKO, even with the Fire Berry. So if I have Rocks up to break it sturdy, it's not as threatening to me. I do have to watch out with Diancie though, because if he could have the Fire Berry, if I don't see any leftover recovery, I know that's probably what it is. And if he does have it, he can potentially live the HP fire and then kill me with a Gyro Ball. So that is something I am aware of. It's something I have to wait, kind of scout for. And I just gave it the Assault Vest because this thing is kind of designed to handle Mega Venusaur and Suicune. So just that extra bulk from the Assault Vest will definitely help. I might change that item. If I do, I'll tell you guys before the match starts. But anyway, so that's our Avion. And then next up we have KY, the Tentacruel. Black Sludge, Liquid Ooze, just because he does have the Whimsicott and the Mega Venusaur. Both like to use Giga Drain and Leech Seed. And if they're going to set those up on me, I'm going to make them pay for it. No free health from me. Rockin' Toxic, Rapid Spin, Knockoff, and Scald. Basic. Just a basic set. Toxic, again, I was going to have T-Spikes, but to kind of lure in Mega Venusaur and get advantage of that by switching into Tornadus or Latias there, but it's just a battle I didn't want to have to keep fighting, just because Mega Venusaur is so bulky. I didn't want to have to do this over and over and over again throughout the match, because I do need to get that 2 layers up in order to get a Toxic Poison on the Suicune, and then also would have meant having to, I still wouldn't be able to get Toxic on Cresselia, so that's why I ultimately went with Toxic over T-Spikes. Rockin' just a standard, fully, especially defensive set, because again, this thing does handle the Suicune, it does handle the Mega Venusaur, the Whimsicott. Crest, not so much, but I have other things for that. Thundurus, again, not so much, but I do have the Latias, which resists. I do have the Colossus, which resists. So I do have other mons to take on those threats. And yeah, again, just another really straightforward set. Next up we have our Air Canada, the Latias, rocking the leftovers. Thunderbolt, Psyshock, not Dragon Claw, Draco Meteor, and Calm Mind. We're rocking enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Liepard. Max special attack, 20 in HP, just to give us... what the hell? Why are all my sets messed up? 128 in HP, just to give us that nice round number. And sorry, I'm just going to do one quick check. Yeah, perfect. So this is my main wall breaker. This is what I want to take on Mega Venusaur. This is what I want to take on Suicune. This is what I want to take on Cress. Actually, you know what? We're going to change Draco to Shadow Ball. I'm building on the fly here. Calm Mind will hopefully allow me to set up. Once I get a couple Calm Minds, I can OHKO any specially offensive Mon that he, like the main walls that I'm worried about. I got the Thunderbolt for the Suicune, I got the Psyshock for the Mega Venusaur, and I got the Shadow Ball for the Cresselia. Nothing is taking this on. Again, now I might switch Shadow Ball to Draco Meteor. In full disclosure, I'm not super happy with this team. I don't really know what to do, though, against this wall core. I just don't really... I feel like I have a really bad matchup this week. So this is definitely going to be a tough match. But anyway, my last Mon here is Colossus, the Registeel. Leftovers, Clear Body, Stealth Rock, Ice Punch, Counter, and Seismic Toss. The counter is in case he brings the Staraptor or the Darmanitan, and I have no other answers. If I'm at full health, I can live almost anything they can throw at me that's super effective. An Adamant Darmanitan's Flare Blitz has a chance to knock me out if it's banded. But other than that, I can live anything from his main physical attackers, Liepard, Staraptor, Darmanitan, Hitmonlee. Almost none of them can take on Colossus with one hit. And then I can go for a counter and just get rid of their Mon. This also has the Stealth Rock, which is really big for me because a lot of his main threats, Thundurus, Staraptor, and Darmanitan, are all weak to rocks. So if I can get rocks up, I can really limit the amount of switch-ins they have. You know, Staraptor and Darmanitan both like to be scarfed with U-turns, so I can kind of put a quash on that or at least limit it. Seismic Toss is just basic coverage, and then Ice Punch is again for the Staraptor and the Thunderous Eye, because I do think that those are common switch-ins to this thing. Based on his team, I might actually change it to Earthquake. Now that I'm looking at it, or Iron Head. No, Ice Punch is fine. I like Ice Punch. And then again, just standard max defense, max HP. Just because I'm really hoping to get the counter off. Again, I'm not really happy with this team right now, and in all honesty, I might redo it before I have my matches. I've still not heard from Bruce, but I say it every week. I would love to hear any suggestions you guys have for this team, because I really don't know what else I could have done against him. I just don't have a good Mega Venusaur, Suicune, and Cresselia. That is just crazy. And just seeing this amount of bulk shows me how much of a problem I'm going to have against Crazy's team, and just bulk in general. Stall really, I don't have a ton of wall breakers. That I'm actually I do, just not against this team, I guess. I could have brought Reuniclus. I did think of that. It could have swapped in instead of Latias. It still might. But anyway, that's my team builder for this week, guys. I would love to hear what you guys have any advice you guys have to offer me, and I will see you guys